Going live on Facebook, there's always, it starts right away.
Yes. Mhm.
Almost forgot. Okay. All right. I'm going to put mental wellness and nutrition, maybe. Short description. Okay. Go live. I'm not going to do that. Okay. We are being live streamed. All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Nutraceutical Thursday. I am your host, Pamela Gilchrist, and we are going to talk about mental wellness and nutrition. And I'm also going to ask some questions of Georgie and Kelley here, because even if you're not severely mentally ill, your mental health can still benefit greatly. And because I come from a place of, I was severely mentally ill, but everybody has a transformation story of their mental wellness, even if they're not severely mentally ill. And sometimes I think we think that, everybody's a little depressed, everybody's anxious, and we don't really think of that as being mentally ill, but it is. So my background is I suffered with severe mental illness for years and years and years. I think I was about 12 years old when I first wanted to hang myself from the rafters in the barn and had no idea why. And it wasn't until 18 when I moved away to college that whole mental illness thing really came to a head, and I started hallucinating. And so then I started drinking, and that's when I started cutting myself. I'd wanted to do it before, but didn't have the guts. So when I started adding alcohol into the mix, that's when I was brave enough to actually start cutting myself. And then it just became the ideal way to cope for me. And so I was 18 years old when I first entered the mental, like the psych ward in a hospital. And the second time I was admitted became a 6-month stint in the hospital. And my first shock treatments and first psych meds. And I was so medicated, I could only stay awake for 15 minutes at a time. And I was in 3 different hospitals. Over that 6 month, they just kept sending me to a different one, hoping that one would work. And that just became a lifetime of suffering and going into, I've been in hospitals all over Alberta and some in Saskatchewan, and medication after medication after medication. And like some of the really heavy duty older stuff can give you really bad side effects. And 3 different courses of shock treatments. And like as soon as I'm admitted to the hospital, I became, pretty well known, I think. So then like they'd certify me right away and put me on close contact, and, don't take your eyes off her. You never know what she's going to do. Because when I was in one of the mental institutions, I did rip up my bed sheets and I hung myself, and they had to cut me down. So every time I was in that one, they'd actually put me in a strong gown, which is a burlap sack that you cannot rip. And I wore that for 3 weeks. When I got my clothes, everybody thought I was a new patient. They didn't even recognize me. And they gave me, when they put me on timeout, it would be for 3 or 4 days in a room with nothing else in it, and you get 3 strong sheets. And so I've been to the very bottom with mental illness, the very, very bottom, you know, ones where you would just take so many medications. You didn't really want to die, but you just wanted the pain to end. And doctors didn't even know if you'd survive. Poison control didn't know if you'd survive. Tied to the bed. So many things that some hospitals, they knew that, you know, I could possibly tie the hospital ties around my neck so tight, because one time they found me in the shower blue. So I was like determined to take myself out, but it was not my time to go. When I was 18 was the only time a psychiatrist ever said, I think you need some vitamins. And so he gave me some B vitamins, and nobody ever, ever talked about nutrition. When you get put on all these medications, they say that it doesn't make you gain weight. But the last time I was in psych ward, I was put on 3 new psychiatric medications, gained 50 pounds in a month. And so you cannot tell me that they don't, you know, contribute to you putting on weight. I know when you're depressed, you don't eat as well because you're so depressed. You don't want to cook anything. You don't even want to go to the grocery store. It's really hard to eat well, but you still shouldn't put on 50 pounds in a month. And so I was 305 pounds, depressed, anxious. I was using all mobility aids, and it was really hard to even want to live, because you just do not feel good in the body or the brain, and there's just doesn't seem to be any hope. And so you're so overweight, they'll send you to a dietitian, and she will tell you to follow the Canada Food Guide, and it's all about restriction. So if you want to eat crackers, you like eat 5 of them. And I couldn't keep that up. It just felt like punishment. And so I was desperate, and knew somebody who had gone to Mexico and got gastric bypass surgery, and he looked so good. I just wanted that. And when you go to Mexico to get it, I went to a very reputable surgeon, a state-of-the-art hospital. Like, they have better practices, you know, in the way of you know, cleanliness and stuff than even some hospitals I've seen here in Canada. But they don't tell you, you know, the things that could happen or the side effects you could have. You just go to Mexico and you hand the doctor a wad of money and you get surgery, and you come home and you just try to follow the little protocol that you have. And so I remember when I finally got on pureed foods, getting mashed potatoes out of a box, putting them in a blender, and some roast chicken and a can of gravy, and you blend it up and you're like, oh, it's food. And that's what I ate. And it just, wow, that just really turns my stomach right now, that it's just Thanksgiving dinner in a blender. I did lose quite a bit of weight, but and I started being able to get off of some of my psychiatric meds because they were just too much for my body weight now. So the psychiatrist started taking me down after I finally said, you know, should we be reducing these things? And he said, oh, oh yeah, we probably should. And so we started reducing them. But I got so very sick from the gastric bypass. I had several complications and I just threw up everything. They cut parts of your vagus nerve. So my whole colon, the whole picture frame, the GI specialist says, is just plumb full. Those muscles do not work anymore, and they're never going to again unless you take this medication. And so I said, I'll take the medication, but not for very long because these muscles are going to work. It's taken a couple of years. Those muscles work. I'm on zero psychiatric medication, zero medication whatsoever. And when I was so very sick after the gastric bypass surgery, like my daughter said, Mom, you're going to have to go on a feeding tube. And I thought, oh my God, like I have conquered so much and now I have to survive on a feeding tube. That is not going to happen. So I hired a holistic nutritionist and she told me right away, you got to order this box. And I had no idea what was coming till it came to the door. And it was a box of the most ultimate nutrition that I didn't know at the time, but that I've ever experienced in my life. And so the green shake, the power shake, I could only drink about an ounce at a time. So a shot glass at a time. And it took me several months to do 1 month's worth of package of the ultimate lifestyle transformation. But I believed in what my holistic nutritionist said, that this could transform my health. And so I just kept believing her and thinking, like, what else am I going to do? There's no other alternative. I just go on a feeding tube and just eat like that the rest of my life, or I try something different. And I had no idea how this nutrition would up level my mental health so much that I don't even worry about, like I went off my antidepressants after I started Purium. And I thought, okay, I'd gone off antipsychotics and with the psychiatrist and it was okay. And some other anti-anxiety and it was okay. But those antidepressants, I was like really scared to get off of those. Because when you get in that deep, dark hole of depression, I mean, I do things to myself that I might not survive. And it was very scary, but I just trusted and went off the antidepressants. And I am not scared of depression. Now, nothing's perfect. I still have anxiety, but my mental health is so good that I can use the coping skills that I have when those things come up, which, I mean, you could teach me all the coping skills in the world before, but I just couldn't use them. And I mean, we think that the medical system should have all the answers. And well, they're very helpful in some ways. They don't have all the answers because they really don't know about nutrition. I had a neurologist because I had a episode with some neurology stuff, and he said, I don't know, you should be wheeling in here in a wheelchair, yet you're walking in. How did you do that? I said, well, this is the power of mindset and nutrition. I said, you know the power of those things, right? And he didn't have anything to say, because they they just they don't know what they don't know. So I had to I had to help myself and reach out to others who knew more than me about nutrition to get myself out of deep mental illness. And now your doctors are great. Sometimes we need more than that. We're not saying, your doctors don't know anything, don't listen to them, because they have a place. We're saying just try some nutrition. If you're struggling right now, just try some nutrition. What have you got to lose? It's just food. We're adding amazing nutrient dense foods into your body that it's lacking, because they think between 75% and 90% of your serotonin is made in your gut, and up to 50% of dopamine is made in your gut. And so if it's unhappy, it's not making those things. And then we feel like we have to turn to antidepressants to make that. That's synthetic. That is not food. Add some food to your body so your body can make it themselves instead of taking something synthetic. Just try that and see how it goes. You really have nothing to lose. Except maybe some time trying it. It will add to your life. I guarantee it. And you know what? The company guarantees it, because if you do not like it, if you think it tastes terrible, if you just decide you don't want to put the time and effort into it, you can send it back after 60 days, empty packages, get your money back minus shipping. So you've got nothing to lose. You really don't. Invest in yourself, because we don't think we're worth it, but we so are. And you don't know you're worth it until you start and you feel better. And then you go, wow, I am worth it. Welcome to my TED Talk. That's it. Georgie told me that she would love to just tell you a little bit about her mental wellness transformation.
Well, I've been a naturally gifted healer since in the 90s. And so I was doing, I did a lot of working with people, and I consider myself a pretty level person for the most part. But I had an incident happen in 2010 on March the 13th, and my son was killed in an avalanche. And my whole world went upside down. One of the hardest things that can happen to you is to lose a child. And so I went into pretty deep depression, and I didn't do healing work for a long time. And thank God Kelley stood by me through all that, because there were some days I wasn't a whole lot of help with her. I got lost in my work. I spent working a lot out, long hours at work. That was the way I coped. And so when I started on Purium, I wasn't in my mental health wasn't all that great either. But I'll tell you what, this made a difference. The nutrition really helped me. And so, you don't have to have a mental health diagnosis, but something drastic in your life could happen. And this levels your mental health out. This helps you mentally, spiritually, physically, and everything. It balances you right out. And it grounded me. So now I'm doing healing work again. And that makes me so happy.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty awesome transformation, girl, from both of you, okay? I mean, gee whiz. You know, when I started Purium, I really wasn't thinking about the mental health aspect. You know, I just wasn't, you know, I mean, I had so many more physical ailments, you know, high blood pressure and high cholesterol and you know, just heart disease runs in the family and short lives on my mom's side, you know, and they didn't live to ripe old ages, you know, and so I kind of resigned myself to the fact that I'll probably die young too, you know, and eat, drink, and be merry while you're here, and to hell with it, right? I mean, that was my mindset, really. And when we started on Purium, it doesn't take long before you notice a change in not only your physical well-being, but your mental well-being too. And it's an awesome thing what nutrition does. And you're right. The doctors, it's just like the very last thing that they mention is, you know, are you eating a proper diet? What's your nutrition like? And you can go in and it doesn't matter what size you are, you know, it doesn't matter how much you weigh. If you're not putting the right things into your body, you're not going to be healthy. And we know that everybody that, you know, has been smart enough and taken the advice of others to start a ULT and stick with it. Heather knows the difference. You know a difference. Georgie knows a difference. I know a difference. And we all are testaments to that, you know. And yeah, nutrition is definitely the key. Gut health is definitely the key. You know, if you don't have a healthy gut, you can't even use the nutritions and the other formulas that we provide, you know. So it's been really it's been magic really for us, and I know it has for you too.
And you guys almost lived separate lives in the same house before this, because you each had your own stuff going on. And what has it done for your relationship?
It's done a lot. We're a lot more connected, and we work together as a team now a lot more.
Well, we always wanted to do something, you know, like some sort of business that we could work together. But when I was off and had surgery, and even before I had the surgery, you know, with the right, I was into TV. I watched every series there was, you know. I could probably just start naming off Netflix series and every series you can think of, and submerge myself in that, you know. And Georgie too,
With I played games on the internet and lost myself in that.
Farm Saga and Candy Crush. You're probably on.
I don't even. I deleted all them now. I don't even play those anymore.
Probably on level 4 million. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit,
but everybody has different ways of coping.
yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
That was
That's all numbing. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't realize what a hole you're in until you start to crawl out of it. You
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
it is amazing. And the brain fog, you know, when I started back to work, which I have on, I think on week 3. I'm on week 3. And I was worried about how I'd be able to get back into it, especially the computer work and all that, you know, and it's been really good. You know, I haven't lost too many of my marbles. Matter of fact, I think I've gained a few. So it's really been good, you know, really. So Not that I want to go back, because
It's bioregion.
it's still a 4-letter word, right? But
Which Marbles back could be one of our slogans.
that's right. I like it. I like it.
So, yeah, these superfoods are something, and they really are. And that's why we go out there every day and try to promote them to the people we love, because they are amazing. You know, and some people think we're just trying to sell them something. Well, we're not. We're not trying to just sell them something. This is the best nutrients in the world, and if we approach you, it's because we care about you. So
It's the gift of health.
yeah,
It really, it's not, it's a movement. It's not a product. It's a whole lifestyle movement, and we're proud to be associated with a company that cares about making everybody better.
Yeah.
And feel better.
And once you meet Dave, the founder, I mean, that even just up levels, because I mean, he lives in the middle of the desert. So like when he goes on a Zoom, I mean, lots of times he has to turn the camera off because his hasn't got the greatest Wi-Fi. And I just had a skin-to-skin contact with him. People look at me funny, but seriously, before the sweat, I mean, he was just in these hippie pants without a shirt, and I was in my sports bra and little shorts to go in the sweat, and he just came over and gave me the biggest squeeze. And I mean, who can say that they've met their founder and had skin-to-skin contact and hung out with them at a sweat, and wasn't at some conference walking across the stage shaking his hand in a suit? That's not who he is. His heart, I mean, when I met him, I was having anxiety when we finally got out there. It's in the middle of nowhere. And once we finally got out there, I mean, one of our team members, Tammy, just took me by the hand and took me in one of these little rooms that happened to have an air conditioner stuck in the window, and went to go find me ice water in the middle of the desert. She said, I don't know if I'll be able to find ice, but at least I can find water. And he came into the room and just, oh, hi, sister. And I mean, Maui County is just on fire, and he sent over superfoods. And somebody said, you're not going to be able to get them through. And he said, oh yeah, I am, because we have brand partners over there, and they'll be distributing the foods to the people that need them. And it's not all over the news. You don't see, I mean, we're a fairly large company. You don't see us having to put it all over the news. I mean, he's just got such a heart. And once you see the heart, this food becomes even more valuable. And you don't even have to meet him to know his heart. Him and Amy, I mean, I met her and I made her cry with my story, and we hugged, and she knows my name now from one meeting. This is such a heart-centered company who cares about everybody. So we just want to spread the love, spread the love. Like, try the food, ask us for a sample. If we live close, we have $50 gift cards for you, or 25% off, whichever is greater. We just want to share the love. We want everybody to feel their best. And if you don't think you're worthy, ask us. We'll tell you you're worthy. Because even if you don't feel you're worthy, just start, and just start where you are. Just start where you are. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to change everything overnight. I just met with a new customer, and we worked out her day, and I said, have it in the morning. And then we found out that her lunchtime, she really doesn't know what to eat. but she knows what to eat for breakfast. So I said, okay, have your green shake at lunch. Like, we are just so flexible. We will work with you. Sometimes consistency is hard. So I have some people that I just send a text to every day and just remind them until you get into a habit. We really will. Yeah, we just want to love on you and we want you to feel your best. That's it.
I went to a spiritual workshop here or a weekend last Sunday, and because I was invited by actually a really old friend of mine. She was we worked together 20 some years ago, and so she hadn't seen me for 15 years, at least 15 years. And she said to me, "Oh my God, Georgie, you must have lost 100 pounds." And I said, well, to tell you the truth, my weight hasn't changed that much, but I know I've lost inches. And she said, spiritually, you've lost 100 pounds. And
Wow.
which was a hell of a compliment. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
And I believe I have. I probably because the weight of my depression is off. So,
Mhm.
and that was heavy.
And the weight of like worrying about your diabetes and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Thank you both for sharing.
Thank you for sharing too. That's,
Yeah.
you know, your story's such an important story to share, Pam. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And that is probably the reason why that it wasn't your time, because you have so much to share.
Yeah.
So many people to share it to. So
Yeah. So get a hold of us. Ask for your gift card. Seriously, we'll just give it to you. All righty. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the replay. If you've seen the replay, thank you, Heather, for popping in.
yeah.
And that's it. Over and out. Nutraceutical Thursday done for another week.
See you next week.
Thursday. Let's stop Facebook first. Stop. There we go. Okay. Stop recording.